It's that time of year where you need to write loads of reports for all your different classes, and it's always a very big pinch point of mine. You've probably just had a load of exams to mark. You've probably had Key Stage 4 and 5 exams, and then a load of Key Stage 3 exams, and then you need to write reports on your various different groups, and then your mind boggles because you've got 8 different groups of students to write reports for. So I'm just going to show you a really quick and easy way of setting up this reports so that it is still within your voice. It's still very personal to the students that you are writing the reports for, but ultimately save you a bit of time. Now, you probably do need to have something to work from. So you will need to have a mark book that you have been using, whether that's been written in your back of your planners or as I'm going to show you, I've got a electronic mark book, and through the year I normally write a few very kind of simple but very garbled comments. I understand what they mean, and ultimately it's about making sure that these reports are personalised, because the parents are going to read these, and we do want to make sure that we're delivering a really lovely report that is specific for the student. So have your mark book to hand, kind of have an idea of what you might want to talk about for each student. And like I said, I have kind of a garbled comment section on my electronic mark book, and the screenshot you can see here. And then ultimately AI will help me make sense of this and then get it so that it's in a format that is legible. So my school uses Microsoft platform, so we're a team school. So we do have access to Copilot at school as well. So I have set up a chat for styles of reports. You probably could set up an agent, but at this tutorial, this stage, I've just set up just a normal chat, but I will explore how to set up an agent in a later video. So the first thing is just double check that you have set your preferences. So again, I've done this in other videos as well. You go down to your name bubble and you click on settings and you go to personalization. I'm sure if you're in like the Google suite, Google Classroom, I'm guessing you have access to Gemini. It probably has something very similar where you can click on and do some preferences. And in the custom instructions, I would go in and just edit them and just make sure that they are aligned with how you would like to do things. So for example, some of this won't be relevant for this particular chat, but I do want it in English spelling, not American spelling. Obviously, I want to take out any emojis, speech bubbles, lines, dashes, those types of things. But then ultimately within this chat, you are going to set it up so that it has your previous style report examples. So I have a document, it's a Word document that's in a kind of table format, and I have pulled across just a couple of reports. And again, for each year group, the report might be slightly different depending on the projects that they have been doing. So on here, you can see that I have anonymized them. I've got A, B, C, D. I've done them like that. If you don't have previous reports because you are in a new post or you've not had to write reports before, normally the school has a framework. They'll have some examples on there, or you might have to go and ask some colleagues and see if they would share some examples with you, take out the student names. And so these were ones that I've written from last year. And so a lot of the information is going to be very similar. And also it shows the style in which I provide my reports. And again, we want to ensure that it doesn't have any kind of weird language that you wouldn't necessarily use. It needs to be your voice and the way that you write and your style of writing. And thinking about what modules you might have covered or what types of activities you might have done and what things you might have been assessing. Obviously, you would want to change that. So that's the two documents that I've got, my mark book and my report examples. Now in the chat feature, I have just started a new chat. I have put in my example report document, and then I just quite clearly just asked AI, can you write ones for the following students? Leave the student name ready to be filled in, and I'm going to give you some key pieces of detail, and I want you to write about their individual progress, and that it needs to sound like my previous reports. Obviously, it's then given me a bit of a template style. It's given me a couple of options to read through and just double check. At this stage, obviously, you can tweak and change things that you don't like. We follow a very structured scheme of learning in each year group. So obviously, there are set projects that we do and set bits of assessment that we do. Then what I'm going to do is I just put in a little bit, I basically just copy and paste some of the stuff from my mark book in those note columns. I copy and paste it over, and then I just tweak anything in terms of how I think they've been working. So again, it is tailored to that person, but ultimately the time that it saves you is generating that written response. I have in the past had comment banks that I've used in the past, but ultimately, again, you're still having to kind of tweak and change them, and it's still a little bit challenging. Of course, you're still going to read over it. You're still going to make sure that it aligns with that student's progress. So do obviously use all of that, but it has made the report writing process for me much more streamlined, and I can kind of generate more reports as I'm going along. But again, obviously I needed to have that kind of foresight to have few notes on each student before you come to it. And again, obviously I'm not going to share my mark book. I'm just copying and pasting the anonymised bits of information, and then using that report, I can then copy and paste it into a Word document, tweak it, add the name in it, etc. And then I can add that to the reporting platform that you might use. So for example, we use Sims. So I'm going to just copy and paste that over. That way you can just check your spelling, check your turn of phrases, make sure that it aligns with that student's progress. But ultimately, it does mean that it is much more streamlined, and I'm not having to kind of write things from scratch or try and find students from previous years that were similar, and then you're still having to like rehash and rewrite. So this is my kind of tip on how to get Copilot helping you with your reports, and just make sure that you're getting everything set up, but also making sure that you're not putting any identifiable data in there, and just ensuring that you're being very anonymised in terms of the names and classes, etc. So just be mindful of those few things. Give it a go, see how you get on. Let me know in the comments how you fared. If there's anything else you want me to explore and have a go at, put it in the comments. Obviously, like and subscribe the videos, and I will continue generating kind of more teacher led tutorials just to help us on our way, because the admin load is always massive when you're a teacher. So any of these quick wins is a excellent step in the right direction, and AI is obviously a brilliant tool for eliminating some of this additional workload that we have, and we can just enjoy teaching students in our lessons. So good luck with your reports at the end of the season, and I'll see you in my next video.